We are still a few months away from the 2014 Eurovision Song Contest, but this year's competition is already running into problems.
Yeah, apparently several nations have dropped out because of the costs of entering, and there have been allegations of vote rigging as well.
Paul Jordan is an expert in all things Eurovision and joins us now. You never get bored of this, do you? Probably more.
No, it's a good hobby to have.
So what's going on this year?
Well, this year's quite a controversial contest in terms of the numbers, as a lot of countries have dropped out. I think at the last count it was about 8. Eurovision every year throws up many issues, and financial issues are the main problem at the minute in Europe. Interestingly enough, though, Greece, which have had major problems during the Euro crisis, and their national broadcaster was closed down last year, are still in. So it's quite interesting that a lot of countries have pulled out, but there are still some stalwarts there, so Greece are really keen to stay there.
And we're talking about financially, we're talking about the cost of staging the contest if you win, because it's enormous, isn't it?
Well, it is massive, and it's gone up really year upon year. Moscow, for example, was nearly 30 million euros.
30 million?
And Azerbaijan in 2012 was alleged to have been over 50 million because they staged the contest in a brand new arena which they built specifically for Eurovision. So it's quite interesting, but it's also the actual participation costs which are very, very high. For some countries, if you think smaller broadcasters, Moldova, Malta, they can't really afford these, massive participation fees. And the BBC get entry every year because we pay a lot more than other countries because we've got a larger population.
The UK, you mean?
Yes, sorry.
That's OK. And does also allegations of vote rigging, and that has sort of dogged the Eurovision for years, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and that's really not been... It's nothing new. If you think back to the days of Cliff Richard, congratulations, 1968, it was alleged that his vote was rigged. The Yugoslavians apparently were said to have been bribed by the Spaniards to vote for them rather than Cliff. So that's nothing new, but last year footage emerged of Azeri officials allegedly bribing people to vote for Azerbaijan. Now, when that footage emerged on YouTube, the Eurovision authorities really had to take that seriously, and it seems like they have this year. They've changed the rules. This year it's very, very open and transparent. They've made sure that the jurors' names are going to be distributed ahead of the contest, as well as information about who votes for who, whereas previously that was been kind of behind closed doors, because it's 50-50, it's public vote and 50% jury vote, so it's very open this year. So whether or not they found something during their investigations, who knows, but it certainly seems like they've changed the rules.
That's interesting. I always thought it was just the public vote, but there's still a panel of experts in each country who have just as much say as the rest of us.
Absolutely. Back in '97 they changed it from the jury to the public vote, and that was happening really up until 2008, and then that's when they reintroduced excuse me, the juries. And 2009, that was when they had 50-50 in the final, and that was really I suppose a response to mainly the criticisms of Western broadcasters that it was a fix and somehow some countries were unfairly advantaged or disadvantaged depending on who votes for who. So, and but when we look back to 2009, that was when the UK returned to the top 5, so we have done well under this new system. Even though poor Bonnie last year and Engelbert the year before didn't do too well, we have done a little bit better since the juries came back.
Yes, I think too well is probably generous, isn't it? Oh, thank you very much. And when is it? It's not till May anyway, is it?
Yeah, I think it's 10th of May.
10th of May. You'll be watching.
Plenty of time to discuss it before then.
Thank you.
Paul, thanks. The time is 6:44.
This is Breakfast.